Greetings everyone, and welcome to another WIS technology tutorial. In today's lesson I'm going to be talking about extending the Awesome Tables file cabinet view to allow for formulas to work even after the script runs and updates. So for those of you who have used the file cabinet view, this screen should be familiar to you. What you're looking at here is a Google Classroom folder. Basically, when I went to select my folder, I chose my Google Classroom folder, and it populated the spreadsheet with all of the files in that folder. Now, what I was curious about is if there was a way that on this spreadsheet I could maintain some functions, and you'll see here, just as for demonstration purposes, I've added a column R called formula. Now, typically what happens is if you put a formula here, for example, in R3, and then overnight the script sort of resyncs the folder, all of the data in this column would become these values only. The formula would disappear. So I was pretty confident I could figure out a way how to make it stick, and I did come up with a solution for this. So what you see here is an array formula. So this is kind of useless, but it's just demonstrating a point. So it's basically looking down from K3 to K. This is the range it's going to look down, and if it spots the string of text 7 English R, it's going to put a yes in this column. Otherwise, it'll put a no. So that's all this is doing, and the point that I want to demonstrate is that even when this folder refreshes, so if I go here, sync now, I'll go ahead and let it do its thing. It does take a little time. I think it takes a lot slower. It's a lot longer when you add these functions in there, but I do think it adds a layer of flexibility to your file cabinet. So notice how it briefly kind of flashed, it cleared, and then it repopulated. And again, the formula is still there. So that's what I'm going to show you how to build that in. So, and I'm by no means a Google Apps script expert, but if you go to the script editor, which I've already opened it, we have it right here. And the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you add your formula column at the end right up here, and then give it a hidden filter so it's not visible when you make your Awesome table, unless you want it to be visible. I mean, you may want to use that data in your Awesome table, which I've done that before in other instances. Then if you scroll a little bit further down, I've made a few changes. I've changed this sort to a true sort, so meaning that it's going to put the oldest documents on top rather than the most recent. So you can see how these things are sorted with the most recent on the bottom, and that's what I wanted. So that's putting it on the bottom. If it's false, it'll put it up at the top. And then here, again, this is when you initially install it. The update is a little bit different. So let's actually, this line of code here is actually putting this formula in cell R3, and I can talk a little bit about how this works when I go down to the update portion. So here we are. It says function update, and we're going to scroll down just a little bit more. So the way I got this to work was I first needed to clear the range, right? So R3 : R, that range had stuff in it that had to be removed in order for this array formula to write to that range. So every time it updates, I'm actually first deleting it, clearing the contents, and then I'm placing that array formula back in cell R3. So the way this line of code works, to my understanding, is that this is referring to a specific range on the sheet, R3 to R, right? And then this get cell is actually referring to a specific cell in that range. And in this case, it's referring to the very first cell in that range, which is R3. And then I'm telling it to set a formula, and this is the formula. I had to figure out that I had to use single quotes versus double quotes here, but I put in this formula and saved, and that was it. So now every time that this runs, it'll fill in this entire column with the new values, because this will be an active formula. So I hope that makes a little sense and maybe give you some ideas about how to extend the file cabinet view in your awesome tables to include even more useful information. Thanks for watching. Bye.